I think let's look at weekly today and without drawing to start with. And I think we'll focus on how much they drop last week and how much is the recovery with respect to the drop. So basically this is a drop and this is a recovery attempt which is in progress. So we'll be focusing on that. Anything that has fully recovered is good, very simple. And weekly, if you are trading for short term, you can get that clue, right? Okay, so this 1 inch is in middle, and you may say that this is the May 31st high, and this is August high, and then reaction, and this pattern is still good. If I compress it, you will see the symmetry here, the left hand side, right hand side, and so on. But the pattern has to be tracked. Okay, so not bad, are very similar. In fact, it's almost identical. um, with good attempt here. Ada is weak, so this is interesting. Ada is actually had a good bounce. I mentioned that it is positive, but this week there is no sign of bounce. It's showing more weakness here. So this is very interesting, very different than two coins we saw. So this is showing weakness at this moment. Ada. Algo, look at that, beautiful, right? It doesn't care about the it didn't care about the correction at all. And this week it went down a bit, but this is not big enough, like on a weekly scale, if you ask me. If you compare this, so this is one of the strongest one. Alice, not much. It's trying to recover like 1 inch, and how we saw. Look at Atom. This is like a this is really doing well. Excuse me. This is strong move. It's making new high. It is not, it is ignoring everything. So this is really strong. I mean, right now number one. We'll see if there is anyone else better than Atom. This is number one. I don't want to rank actually, otherwise I'll end up in that perpetual ranking. But at this moment, this is one of the top ones. Let me say that. Atom. Look at that. No doubt about it. AVAX is also doing very well. On a weekly scale, little bit like a slowdown, but I mean, pretty good. Pretty good. This is also strong coin. New high. What else are we on? Strong volume. Band average coin at this moment. I think band is not impressive at all. Like, look at this. Since July 2020, this is like how many months we're talking about? Like this is like 16 months and moving sideways. So you may say that this is a big consolidation, and which is true, but who is going to wait that long? I mean, again, it is going to go up at this level, and who knows when it will break out. And also, this is a boring coin, totally boring coin. If it comes down to this and give a good breakout and a wave like this, then it will be amazing. At this moment, band is super boring. BNB not showing any strength on week 2 of drop, still at the bottom as you see. So nothing so attractive about BNB at this moment. This was good. Drop has this is also not deep enough. The trend is still maintained. So that's a good part. CELR is also one of the strongest one. It is down by -3, not a big deal. It made a new high compared to March high, and making progress. So one of the strongest, like, so good one. Doge, again similar to BNB and some. I think there's not no strength here. So right now I don't think. Yeah, there's nothing for Doge, nothing positive. Dot is better than many. This week too could turn into green. Little more push is needed, that and it could turn green. Today is up by 6%, so this is looking good to me. And look at the recovery, so this is a very positive, and this is much better than ADA if I compare, because ADA is losing this week compared to DOT, which is actually maintaining the height and maintaining this bounce. It's very positive and looking good. So DOT is looking really good. EGLD is also good. This coin also, it wasn't get affected actually. This is one of the strongest one as well. You see this week is it's down, but again it's having a support from April top. Yeah, so this is not deep enough. So that way it's totally fine. So, and one of the strongest one. ETH is getting better last compared to yesterday, actually, especially today it's a little better. But ETH is going to go along with Bitcoin, nothing different. So whatever I said for Bitcoin, assume the same for Ethereum. I'm not going to say anything different for Ethereum. Ethereum, in terms of percentage, it's little more in terms of movement, percentage movement. Otherwise, the behavior is more or less the same. File dropped a lot actually. This is surprising to me in terms of this percentage drop, a little surprising, especially after such a good breakout. And losing the whole entire move was disappointing. And but it is trying to bounce. The good thing is it is maintaining this low. So in general, I'll give a sample. So if you are having alts, I know I talked about Bitcoin and refer the Bitcoin support, set alert on Bitcoin support, and then take clue, right? But if you also want to, so simple technique is look for the consolidation zone, look for the support zone like this. So for this coin, this is the point of bounce. So naturally 69.8 gives you that support, right? So you think of this, of course this is also support, this is also support. There are many, but this is, I'm talking about immediate support. So 69.5 maybe is an immediate support profile. So that way, if you want, if you're looking for support, closest support, definition of support is very different, and definition, I mean interpretation of support is very different, and it varies by scale also, or time frame also. So when you talk about weekly, this gives you support. But let's say if I just go at 1 day, right, then yeah, in this case the same. But the immediate support could be this 72, for an example, because this was the point of bounce. So this, like for example, is the low, then this is a higher low, and if this is broken below, that means it makes a lower low. So from that point of view, this candle low could be your support on a 1 day scale, 72.4, right? Otherwise 69.5 could be the next support. So see, the interpretation of support changes. And if you go even further, if you are a day trader, if you're a day trader, then your support becomes 80.3 maybe, because this is where it actually bounced. And if it goes down, then it makes new low. So you see how support changes when you change time frame. So I often say that number one thing that you have to decide at what time frame you're going to operate. Are you a trader who is going to operate intraday like a day trader, or a 1 day scale, or a 3 day scale, or a 1 week scale? So you have to decide first. Many people don't understand that and they keep tracking at different levels. You have to see what is your nature, how much time are you spending, how much skill you have. If you are very skillful, then try at intraday, and if you have a lot of time, you try at intraday. But if you are not skillful, when I say skillful means you're new to the crypto and you're not so sure about price movement and all, then the good idea is to zoom out. Then this is not your level, then you zoom out and then say okay, then anything below this one is a potential risk. And if you are, even if you don't have time at all, then I'll say okay, now you see these are weekly lows, so maybe multiple weeks of lows, right? So the 69.5 I mentioned about it, so that can be a, but the question is, are you willing to take that much of heat or not? If not, the technique that I offer is you can then have a strategy where you can have first stop loss 5% here, 10% here, 20% here, and so on. So, or whatever percentage. So you start with small. So you could have 2, 3 stop losses and with a small number, and then if it starts going down, so you exit little bit here. You reduce a little, some more, then you reduce some more here. So each point can be point where you can say decide. So this is another point, this is another point, you see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, so you could have 4 stop losses, and then you decide, what is my percentage? Should I reduce by 5% here, 15% here, 30% here, and everything here? That kind of planning. I just took the example of file here, but you can take any other coin and do the same. I'll take maybe one more coin to illustrate the same. So this is today's low. You may say, if you are having FTM, you say, okay, I want to reduce something. If today's low is broken below, then I want to reduce over here, because and sometime you have to go a little bit in past and say, okay, you know what, this is the low, but this low is slightly below, so maybe I'll consider this low, not this low. And I would keep this one because there is no end to it, because then this is also there, this is very close by. So this can be one level, then this can be second level, right? This can be second level, then this could be third level, a little below. But you see, this is the point, this particular low provided this bounce, then this particular low, sorry, this particular law provided this bounce on case of FTM. So you use this as your support from your planning point of view, and so this can be 1, and then 2, and then 3. Maybe I'll take one more, Ethereum, let's say. So similarly, this can be 1, this can be second, this can be third, and this can be 4. So it's easy actually, and this can be, you can not necessarily you keep it here, you can start with here as well. So this can be first, this can be second, and this could be third. It's up to you, and then you decide 10% here, or 20% here, or 30% here, or 80% here. You decide, and you think about worst case scenario. You think about worst case scenario, say if you are taken out all 3, if your stop losses are hit all 3 of them, then how much money will you lose? If your calculation says, oh, that's too much, then you reduce more in the beginning, and so on. So that's the technique. I hope this will be very helpful for you to plan out your um, stop losses, in my opinion. And this is very simple, but you mix, so you use the candle and also calculate how much money would you lose. So you have to decide how many stop losses, okay, 2 or 3. So 1, 2, 3, or you want 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then say for each of them you decide percentage reduction, and then you calculate if one is stopped out, how much you lose, 2 how much, 3 how much, 4 how much, and that will tell you what percentage. So sometimes it's like 2 3 times you have to calculate it, and then say, okay, you know what, it makes sense, I'll reduce 5% here, 20% here, 30% here, and remaining here, something like that, and that will be your answer. And the beauty of this approach is, even if you this is taken out, you're not completely out, because you might start with small, and if it continues going down, you're reducing, so there's no load. So that's the beauty of it. And if it you're taken out this one and it goes up, no worries, because majority of the positions are still long, and you're not worried at all. So I hope this technique would, you'd find it very handy, right? I mean, so, and it's not difficult after this explanation, I believe. So you may try this out if you think that makes sense. So of course, it's not a financial advice, but best practices. Okay, so let's continue with the analysis. I think the stop loss is poorly understood and very badly managed by many junior traders. So this is one of the approaches. I'm not saying this is the best one. If you have any other better approach, of course you continue with that, but you may consider this one if you think this makes sense. Okay, so we'll continue with our analysis. Um, so file is here, we talked about it. FTM is right on top, looking good. FTT is also good. You see, it's again near near previous high. It got bounced from that level, so that's positive. GRT is very dull coin. Probably I'll replace this with something else, because we gave enough chance, in my opinion. I'm not sure. I mean, this coin is good, but I don't know. It's a coin is really not doing well, so I don't know. Maybe we'll give some more time, but I'm not so happy. HNT, HNT is doing well. You see how it's maintaining its level above this level, a high, which is very positive. ICP is bouncing. Today it's looking good. ICP is very volatile coin. Very volatile coin. So it's trying to recover at this moment. Then next coin is IOTA. So IOTA is trying to recover pretty well. It's halfway, so not bad actually. Much better. Much better. Right now, this is how we are going to compare that, how deep the fall was, and then how's the recovery. So that will tell us that what all like strength of different coins at this moment on a weekly scale, not just daily. So definitely IOTA is recovering quickly, though it's down by 5%. On a weekly scale, it's much better than many. Kawa is pretty weak. You see this? That's what so this is not, if you look at this just 5%, then the IOTA would look worse than Kawa. But when you look at the chart, you will see that the IOTA is better than Kawa. So that's the thing. The perspective changes when you change the time frame. And at this moment, as I said, nobody should look for intraday. That's big no. I mean, of course it's your choice, but what I'm saying is it's noisy. So I would not recommend you to track at intraday and judge what is happening, because it could be totally misguided. I mean, you might not get a clue, and it will play with your emotion. Every other hour you will say, oh, it's going up, oh, it's going down, it's going up perpetually, and it will play with your emotions. So don't I mean, I should not say don't, but avoid intraday. Okay. And if you can track on a weekly, that's even better. I'm not saying for regular days, but in during this phase, I'm saying, because this is the time where you have to zoom out. In my Today also, I'm looking at a weekly for a reason, because it will give us a macro trend, bigger picture. So that's why it's important. We looked at the BTC at lower scale because we want to see inner working of it, to see what is happening and all. But as far as trend is concerned, this is, I think, 3 day or weekly is better. Okay, so KCS, no strength in this week, so still at the bottom of the last candle, so still weakness. The trend is fine at this moment. The immediate trend is broken. This trend is still intact. If you look at the trend line, there's no rule, by the way. There's no rule that you connect only the bottom. The trend line can be drawn differently. Let me tell you, it's about getting feel of it. See, you can draw a medium line through the wave. This is totally valid. Okay, this is totally valid, because the idea, see, this is about idea. Because if you think that, oh, you know what, I'm drawing this line for an example, I'll give you an example here. let's let's see, let's say you are in past, right? If you are in past like this, if you draw a trend line connecting this one, and then you will call out, oh, this is broken. But then you might say, okay, now the week didn't end below this one, makes sense. But then so this can be the interpretation that the body is still above the trend line, the candle wicks could be below the trend line, and so on. This is totally valid. So you can draw something like this, and I'm just showing you technique. And this could be your, so it's closer. What we want is we want it higher. So you can draw like this as well, no harm in doing it, right? Totally fine. You can draw from here, and then you can draw. See that it's a different thing. Then it will give you more room and say, okay, this is my play. So different traders would do differently. Okay. And it is, trend line is a indicator of a trend, because that's the name, right? And then you have to zoom out, and when you try to do this kind of a line, it is about this structure, it is not about this structure. Okay, remember that. uh, so if this is broken below, then it could come down to, for example, if this trend is broken below, it would come down to this level, for example, right? We won't, this would not break this trend, because this was uptrend, I mean, upside move, consolidation, and this is still, and then you can still actually draw something like this, and then say, okay, you know what, okay, it came down here, but fine, I mean, this is far from this. Yeah, if this comes down to this level, oh, then it's a big problem. So you see, because of this amazing move, it has more tolerance, or more, you know, room for it. We cannot call out that the trend is broken unless it comes down to this level. Then this is a trouble. This is not a trouble, but in terms of percentage, this is a big trouble, right? This is a big trouble. 50-60% drop is a big number, but still it would not break the trend. So the trading is, I mean, the analysis is one thing, making money is another thing, and deciding what level. So the best approach that I mentioned, that if the trader starts reducing at different levels. So this is you reduce here, you just keep reducing in increments. You will never face that 60% drop, because even if it comes down to this, it could go up, but then you can buy more and re-enter and so on. So the message that I want to give is, identify, I gave some examples. Identify those low support areas, right? And plan 2 3 exit points. Okay, you decide your percentage. And I think you, it's so simple. I took 3 examples earlier, so that way, because trend wise, it will not break trend like in this case KuCoin. So that's the thing, but it won't be good for trading point of view, because it's a big loss in terms of, capital loss. So we cannot just sit tight and keep watching it falling. I don't believe in that. I believe in trend, but I believe in profit booking as well. So even if it comes down, I mean, the trend is intact. So I would not say the bull run is over. But the point is, if you have earned something, why should not we start booking in a pieces, right? I mean, in chunks. So that's the whole idea. I mean, that's my philosophy on trading. That nothing is forever. Of course, you can keep some position for longer term, so you can have two strategy. But if you're trading, then you don't mix up with hodling. I think you have to have two different accounts, two different strategies, two different percentage. So if you decide to hodl 50% of portfolio, 50% of the for trading, then you have to have two different mindset, two different strategies. You cannot mix up. Anyway, so let's continue. Um, KSM on is holding up pretty well. If you look at it, the trend is good, nice recovery, and now keep maintaining this level very well. Yeah, so looking good, and today also it's good. Link is not so impressive. I mentioned earlier also, this used to be a star coin, one of the stars, and it has kind of lost its glory. I don't know. I don't know when it will get that mood. Anyway, so at this moment, I don't see any strength, and also this is behavior is very ordinary behavior of a very ordinary coin, which is interesting. LTC, pump and dump, we know. So again, I think this is very similar to Filecoin. This is your base. All this is support level, you see. So this is on a weekly scale, but you got the gist of it, right? So I think you should be able to handle it in a better way. I'm sure about it. Luna has been very strong. It got a support from R12. So after it connected, so it's holding up pretty well in my opinion. So looks good. MANA is weak coin. I think I'll remove this coin. Maybe I'll introduce something else. So MANA should go. And it's I mean, in past it had hit R44 targets. It had hit this interim target, also this interim target. So did well. I mean, nothing wrong, but there's nothing special about it. So I'll get rid of it. Matic is a big disappointment to me. I mean, um, I can say it's consolidating, but it's too much. I mean, too much. It's not showing that leadership as it used to. Look at this amazing coin. But if you look at it, it had also crazy consolidation time. So this is also a reality that it had a very long consolidation time, probably the longest one I ever seen for any alt, especially with this kind of break. Look at that, this huge consolidation and even humongous breakout. So Maybe this is a long consolidation, not necessarily the same one, who knows, but and then it could be another leg on the upside. So maybe it has a cycle, very different cycle, where very long consolidation and really big one, big up move. And maybe then another one could be long consolidation and then another big move. Could be. It's too early to say, but looks like so. Matic is something is totally disappointing at this moment, in my opinion. It is not giving any benefit. uh, Having said that, pattern is intact, but bounce is okay, sort of. mm, but too much of volatility. And a weekly also, look at this one, it's like flat for last 5 weeks, doing nothing for last 5 weeks or so. So there's no value as such. So unfortunately, I mean, sometimes you don't know that after such a great performance, you know, because when you have a great performance, this is, it went down like any other coin, and then also this was good actually, but for last 5 weeks, oh, this is ordinary. Yeah, so this is anyway. So having said that, I mean, we cannot just conclude that it is likely to be like this, but for last 5 weeks at least we can say it's boring, super boring. Maker is also ordinary coin at this moment. I think this is also, this has to go. So this has to go like mana. Two coins need to go. I'm not going to talk much about it. NKN NKN got this support. There's no bounce as such. There's no bounce as such. Yeah, week two is not as strong. One is good. Little, it did different. All the coins went down last week. One went up, totally opposite behavior, and it went down this week. So very different. Today it's up by 12, recovering the loss above the previous support, which is good. So looking good today. But yeah, it did something different. QNT didn't do well since we added. Um, Again, it's part of the overall Bitcoin, you know, turmoil. So we'll give some more time. SKL is really doing well, but too much of volatility. This was the trend. It has broken the trend. It retested this level. If you look at it, nice trend line. If you draw nice, this simple trend line, you will see the support, and now it got this support. This is resistance I mentioned. This is the next resistance. So it's consolidating here. So a lot of too much of volatility for sure. But the good news is it is maintaining this support pretty well, and not bad, I would say, not bad. Solana has been, I mean, amazing, what to say. So it reacted from R19 here to 5 resistance, went down, and look at that, it reacted at different levels, and I think it got a support from to R17 precisely. R17 was 143, sorry, my bad, 135, and it bounced from 135. Look at that. So and today it's up by 10, over 10%, and look at it's covering ground so quickly on a weekly scale, right? This is strength of this coin, sheer demand. I see. Look at the consistency. So undoubtedly this is one of the top ones. On a discovery, I also made a bottom call last night, and I think those who have discovery would have enjoyed that. I saw two posts as well on a profit booking and all that, which is good to see. But it was a perfect bottom call. SRM, not bad, I would say. This is one of the good ones. Consistency weekly. I mean, it's volatile a bit, but it's doing job. So this coin has to be tracked at a weekly scale. If you track at low time frame, it's going to give you, a lot of trouble, like because it's the consistency is not there. Let me show you. You see the candle wicks. This kind of drop all of a sudden in between. It's a bit noisy. Not bad as such. Actually, it's not as bad, but weekly I think is much better. So this is one of the good ones. Sushi tried to break above, interestingly, but not lasted long. So it is again back to this cluster noise. So right now there's nothing. So it had amazing glory. Look at this move, but since then there's nothing. So I'm really missing. Since March, it's not performing as it used to. So this is also a coin where it's lacking. It's not able to repeat what it did in past. Tell, not bad, I would say, not bad at this moment. Theta is weak, not much of a strength in week 2. It reacted from the interim resistance, and now it is here. So it's not bad as such. It's still above the last week's scan, but it made a new low this week. So that's something interesting. So it made new low, and the bounce is not good. So it's not showing any strength this week. Uni is similar to sushi. Uni sushi, I think it's similar one. In a very similar structure as well. Interesting. Not bad at this moment, but nothing much. ET weak, showing weakness here. Um, yeah, it is weak, like ADA and like Theta. Week 2. I mean, it didn't make new low though, but it's kind of flat and not showing any strength. VR is showing strength. It's but not major move. This is also flat, but the range is very narrow compared to other alts. If you consider the range, it didn't drop much. So from its high, it is not that far compared to some of the coins. So shows some strength here. Waves is good, right? It's holding up pretty well near the high. It's consolidating at this level, which is good. WRX is one of the weakest one. I think this has to go as well. So we got 3. I think I'm done with this coin. So WRX, Mana, and what third one? Maker. These 3 coins will remove and try to get something new. Recently, XTZ shown, especially last week, it is really performed well when all the coins were not doing well. So this is very, very interesting. Good participation, good volume here. This week was volatile, of course, but this is a good level actually. And today it's up by 9%, so very positive. It's near all-time high and showing some strength. So if it could continue like this for next few days, then it should be able to break above. Yeah, so looking good to me. XTZ. Right, so that covers all the alts. Right. So I hope you got a good understanding on from a T point of view what different alts are doing at a weekly scale. At a lower scale, it doesn't make sense to get in. I think this is the right scale for now. Thanks, everyone.